That's it. We're live. Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, bonsoir. Welcome to our last Bastille Day webinar for the day. This is the end of the day for us, but it's only the beginning of the day for these beautiful ladies who are actually sitting on the terrace of the Café floor in Paris. So it's amazing to see that we're about to go to bed and you're about to start your Bastille Day celebration. So we want to hear all about it and we want to find out who your guest is. Caroline, sitting next to you. It is very noisy, but that's part of Paris life. So I'd like to introduce you to Caroline. Caroline has been to the Brisbane French Festival many times in the past. She has been living 7 years in Melbourne, but we managed to bring her to Brisbane to do masterclasses on French style from Louis XIV to Chanel, and she's a big fan of Chanel. So it was very inspiring when she came. So the first thing we did is we called Caroline and said, can we celebrate Bastille Day with you live from Paris? So here we are. I'm going to let you talk. We'll listen to all the sounds in the background. You're on. Welcome, Lisa, and welcome, Caroline.
Thank you so much, Betty. Sorry, we are from Café de Flore. I don't know if you can hear, but we can hear the bells, We can hear the planes. It's just crazy. So can you hear us?
Yeah, that means we're right on time. It's the 12 bells ringing. So perfect.
So, thank you so much, Betty, for the introduction. And I'm with Lisa, and it's such a pleasure, to find an Australian, in Paris. And we are in this prestigious and beautiful, what we call in French, institution. Is what we say in English too?
Institution. Love those words that work in French and English.
Yes. I think we have 3,500 words,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, and I think it's the best place, to celebrate Bastille Day. So
why not? Boulevard Saint-Germain, Café de Flore.
Boulevard Saint-Germain, Café de Flore. And Lisa, she arrived like 1 year ago.
No, I arrived in November.
In November? Yeah, well, 6-7 months.
Yes,
and can we say you're almost French or not?
My spirit is quite French and Venetian and Melburnian.
Okay, and today we wanted to speak with you, about what is it, for an Australian to live in Paris, and what is my feeling for a French person who lives in Australia and back to France. And of course, the best way to do that is to be on terrasse. Sur une terrasse, en terrasse de café. And it's very, very French. And you know why it's so French to be on terrasse, Lisa? Do you know the story about that? The story behind Café on terrasse? Okay, I'm going to tell you. So everything has started, during the Belle Époque. And during this time, it was the beginning of a new world. The new discoveries, La Belle Époque, exactly. And everyone was very curious, and I think everyone wanted to observe this new world. And it's for that maybe the French people started to be very curious. For French, it's like a show, you're on terrace and you love looking at people.
Oh, yes.
Do you do that now?
Yes, one of the best things about Paris is the terrace cafes, and Australia has really embraced them too. The Italians and the Greeks started up the terrace cafes, especially in Lygon Street with the Italians with their coffee machines in the 50s.
Yes.
That quite revolutionised Melbourne.
Yes.
And then it took until a bit later on until the terraces started opening up. St Kilda, Acland Street was very good with a lot of immigrants who opened up cafes too.
Yeah, and we have the Grave Street also.
Yes.
We have a lot of cafe. So we have a lot of similar things, I would like to say, between Australia and France.
Yeah, I think that as an Australian in Paris and France, I'm often looking for the equivalent of Australia in Paris.
Yes.
And also I think the Australians and the French get along really well. And there's a lot of French in Melbourne especially. And I think they have a really good understanding of each other and sharing of culture, and embrace the difference between the cultures as well, which is because what you have in Australia you don't necessarily have here, although sometimes you can find the best outcome.
And I totally agree with you because I am French, as you can guess, with my very strong accent. So sorry, guys, if you don't understand me, you can write something and tell me I do not understand what you're saying. But yes, when I'm in Australia, I can feel, this love about the French culture. And
It's huge.
Bastille Day, it's huge, in Brisbane, in Melbourne, in Sydney, we have big festival. And of course, we have the festival, in Brisbane in October. So yeah, we can see, this big enthusiasm around the French culture. And to celebrate Bastille Day, yeah, I guess it was the good way, to celebrate Bastille Day. It was at Café de Flore. And we picked this place because Lisa is an artist. So I think it's very important for you to be here. And also because Café de Flore, it's very Parisian. And it's a good way to be inspired. A lot of philosophers, writers, artists, filmmakers, Coco Chanel. I do love fashion, so of course I need to speak about Coco Chanel. Came here, Albert Camus, some writers, and it was a way for them to discuss, to have interesting conversation, and maybe to change the world, or to have this feeling to change the world.
Definitely, yeah.
So, do you have this type of conversation in France, with Australian?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that one thing is that the French really love to talk about their culture and celebrate it, and that's why, what is fantastic about Australia is it has really embraced the French culture. In fact, the Melbourne Alliance Française is the oldest Alliance Française in the Southern Hemisphere and has been going since 130 years.
Okay.
And that's where I had my exhibition last in September or October, celebrating the life of Annette Kellerman, whose mother was French, and she was brought up speaking French. And Annette Kellerman was a fabulous feminist marathon swimmer, diving champion, first Hollywood superstar to appear nude in a silent film in 1916 with The Daughter of the Gods. And actually, she's just been much talked about on the radio. The other day, I woke up and I listened to France Inter, and there was a big discussion about her, an essay.
Yeah.
The journalist was reading all about her life.
Yeah.
And so now they're starting to celebrate Annette Kellerman here. And
just to say for Australian, what is France Inter? France Inter is a radio station, and you have a lot of cultural theme, discussion, conversation, and it's very, very interesting. And as you know, French people, we do love to speak and
there's the most amazing podcast.
Philosophy.
Yeah.
So yes, and you can have amazing podcasts. So if you love this, you need to go on this radio.
Yeah, and also I'm looking. My lifestyle is as an artist, and I really miss my artist friends in Melbourne, my studio, my cat,
yes, I can
my family.
imagine.
Going to openings, but the thing is, nobody can go to openings anymore. They're not happening the same way. Even in Paris, the galleries have just opened up, and that's fantastic.
We have Le Louvre now. Yes, has opened again.
There. And apparently there's going to be 70% less people. That's
yes,
what they read in the paper. The director of Le Louvre was saying,
yeah, that's right.
People, come along.
And I went to Le Louvre, on Sunday, and I think it was the first time in my life I could see the Louvre like this. Yes. It was totally empty. Only French people, and I had this feeling, to be in my castle, It's a museum, but I felt like...
Yeah, but it can feel like that.
It was my place, I was the owner of this place.
A great time. Yeah, exactly. But the confinement was quite something here. It was quite scary.
Yes.
It was very
how did you feel, or did you live this? It was difficult for you, I can imagine, to be far away from your country?
Yeah, it was quite, can this really go on for months and months? And
yes.
What do we do? And in fact, my husband, Tom Alberts, and we went to the art shop on the Saturday, and we bought as many art products as we could. We came home with huge easels and paint supplies because we were worried that the lockdown was imminent. And in fact, it was announced an hour later. We got on at 6 p.m. and at 7 p.m. on the news, it was announced everything. The shops were locked down for 15 days, they said, but I already heard on the grapevine it was going to be at least 45 days, and then it was extended. And so our apartment is a studio.
Yes.
Yes, we have easels all over the place and beautiful light, thank heavens, and a balcony that looks over Saint-Germain-du-Pré, this Boulevard Saint-Germain.
Because you live on this street.
Yeah, but it was actually a thoroughfare for all of the SAMU, the ambulances, the police.
Yes.
It was heavily controlled. And it was very eerie, especially at night, and it was amazing. It was also beautiful because Paris suddenly feels a little bit old-fashioned, doesn't it? Don't you think so? With the pop-up terraces now, we're out of confinement. There are some really beautiful pop-up terraces happening that will last until September, and maybe they're going to start introducing them every summer because it really does give a village feel. And the Parisians are really embracing it. They're on the terrace cafes all over Ile Saint-Louis where they never usually are.
Yes.
And
yeah, it was an interesting time, and as a French person, for me, first of all, it was weird, to see Paris totally empty. And at the beginning, sometimes, I could take beautiful photos, because we got only 1 hour, to walk, on the street. And it was, I think I took the best photos of Paris at this time. So let's speak about the positive point, too. And yes, it was a weird time. And I was quite impressed as a French person to see French people so obedient.
They're really well behaved. I was actually scared there was going to be anarchy. I had friends in Venice and that was all calm and peaceful, but I thought Parisians will never be the same. But in fact, they were really well behaved. There were no smashing of windows like with the Gilets jaunes.
Yes.
No casseurs came in.
Yeah.
Violence, and that was a great relief. And everybody was quite eerie though. People would walk out and not talk to each other and just keep your distance. And we still have to do that, unfortunately. That's the greatest thing we can do.
And I would like to take this opportunity to ask to people, who are looking at us, do you think that French people are a bit, how do we say, rebel? They're a bit like, they have this oh wow, that's quite difficult for me. This revolutionary mind spirit. Do you think so?
I think that's good about them. I mean, I think especially our Parisian friends have the ability to debate around the dinner table and really talk about anything and still go home great friends, even if they've disagreed the whole night.
That's
right.
right.
I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to put forward your point of view and have it listened to and examined and not take it personally.
That's right.
And French are outspoken. And even my girlfriends can be outspoken.
And it's interesting because one day, I was with an Australian friend, in Paris, and I was speaking with some friends and we were chatting, about politics and everything. And it was like, not a fight, but, like French people, no, you're wrong, I'm right. And my friend looked at me and said to me, oh my God, why do you fight? Do not fight, do not fight. You don't need to fight for this. And no, it was not a fight. And after this, we took a glass, of wine and drinking, and everything was totally fine. So yes, I think it's the French way, to discuss. And it's the good, of course, way to say that we are French revolutionary, because today it's Bastille Day. And for French people, of course, Bastille Day is very important. It's about liberté, égalité, fraternité. But what is it for you? How do you live? Do you have like a collection with this day or not?
Oh, well, I mean, my first Bastille Day was really celebrated in 1989 when I moved to Paris for the first time. And it was the 200th anniversary of the storming of the Bastille. And I was living just next to La Bastille in a little apartment. And it was wild. It was crazy. The celebration was enormous. And there were people everywhere, but they were throwing firecrackers, which was scary. And then I even went to the Champs-Élysées to see the fireworks. It was extraordinary. I remember the crowds and walking home. But it was peaceful and happy. And I couldn't believe I was there at the foot of the Eiffel Tower seeing these fireworks, magnificent display. And that was it. And I have gone dancing on the 13th of July to the Fireman's Ball, which for the first time in forever has not happened. last night because of the virus. And then, but otherwise, thinking about looking for what we don't have in Australia, we've missed out on the summer. And with the thinking about the deconfinement's about to happen, I thought, oh my God, I really feel like a beautiful Australian beach. Love a beach holiday. So I researched the most beautiful sandy beaches, and I booked, and you could book the train ticket and the accommodation for France. There was a pass to Pompelon that was highly recommended. One person even said, it's like the Caribbean, and the water temperature's this. 5 kilometers long of sand. So Tom and I went, and it was super beautiful. And we didn't have to hire the mattress and the parasol. We bought our own parasol and our beach towels, and there's a lot of area for the public beach. So we visited the beach Aussie style and made a picnic one day, but then we soon discovered the beach on the restaurant of Club 55 right on the sand, which was sensational. The water was beautiful, the people were friendly.
Brings me so much memories.
Oh, it was good. And then I was feeling pretty sad. We had to catch the train. It was a big journey back to Paris, and we've had 8 great days of continuous sunshine.
So excuse me, just because I can see a lot of questions, so I'm going to reply to this question here. Are you in Paris? Yes, we are in Paris, and we are at Café de Flore. And just a few minutes ago, do you remember I asked, do you think French people are rebels? And guys, and I believe there are a lot of Australians behind this poll, and Australians think that French people are rebels. 81% of people are thinking that French people are rebels. I don't know why you are saying this. I have no idea. So also we have a question, are they having the Bastille Day, the Bastille Parade this year? Yes. But it's quite difficult. It's not a lot of people. Oh, sorry, Lisa, we can't see you.
That's okay.
We do not have people do not see this. There is a lot of security and safety, and
they've been honouring the school teachers who shut down early, the nurses, the medical people, and people that usually don't get first invitations, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, exactly. For the first time this year, on the parade, because usually we have all the military, the police, the firemen.
Yes.
But this year also we're going to have all the medical staff and the nurses, because I don't know in Australia, but in France, during the confinement, the lockdown, every day at 8 p.m. we could upload the people to say thank you. And it was
really beautiful.
And it was quite emotional.
Oh, it was.
It was very emotional. For me, every night, at 8 p.m., I was on my window,
and people on the street would applaud, and you'd see who didn't applaud, and then who would come back. And
that's why
it was like a rendezvous, and we got to know the neighbours across the road.
Exactly. I was speaking with my neighbours, and so it was very.
That's really the only regular thing happening, because a lot of people had sleep problems and things like this during the confinement.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't sleep until 4 o'clock. I don't know about you.
No, it was crazy. I would get up at 4 and look at the dark, empty night.
Yeah. So Lisa, what is your plans? Are they having we answered this question. What is your plan? Do you plan to stay in Paris? Do you plan to go back to Australia?
We have a visa
to
for
share
1
your
year.
life? 1 year. Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the big difference for you between France and Australia?
Well, I actually searched what's similar, really. As like going to the beach.
Yes.
Gallery.
Yeah, we do not have beach in Paris.
Artist friends that I can relate to and hang out with, people who love a terrace cafe.
Yes.
And also, one thing is that when you're Australian, or somebody asks you where you're from, and you go, I'm Australian, I'm from Australia, and they go, oh, Australia. So coming back from Saint-Tropez, Tom and I were on the train. It was full, and there was another couple sitting in the 4-seater section. And then the man there said, oh, where are you from? And I said, from Australia. And he said, oh, I almost went to live in Australia when I was 26. And I said, well, what happened? I said, well, I came to live in Paris when I was 26. How come you didn't? And he said, oh, I got some projects happening. And I ended up living in Paris. And he said, but my wife went to Australia.
Yes.
And I said, oh. And he said, yeah, she went to the film festival. And I said, oh, what film was she working with? And she said, oh, well, she was there. She was invited there for the Melbourne Festival. And I said, what's her name? He said, Anna Karina. And I went, oh. And in fact, she was there for a Jean-Luc Godard festival. And she'd done 7 films with Jean-Luc Godard. And this gentleman who we were talking to, who introduced himself as Dennis Berry, said, oh, she loved Melbourne. I would still love to get there myself. But I don't know if that... Anyway, she loved it. She loved the people. She loved the architecture.
Yes.
And in fact, I said, oh, you know, Fitzroy, Carlton, the little Victorian houses. And he said, yes, that's it. So then when I got home, I looked it up. And he was really lovely, Dennis Berry. He wanted to chat. He went off and bought some fruit juice and talk about Australia and cinema. And we had a little party picnic on the train, the 4 of us, which was lovely. And then I came back and I thought, oh, well, what year was this that she came? So I looked it up, Anna Karina, Melbourne International Film Festival, and it was 2009. And she was there for a retrospective of the Godard films. And there was a pizzeria in North Carlton called Bon Depart, which is one of the titles of the film. And they told her, she was informed that there was a pizza named after her, Anna Karina Pizza. So she said, I have to go there. So she went to the pizzeria and she ordered that Anna Karina, and she really enjoyed it. And she loved the architecture of the area. And she said, I really appreciate these things because when I first came to, and then I read, it was an article from The Age, when she first came to live in Paris at the age of 18 from Denmark, she had no money. And actually the first cafe she came to was Café de Flore. And she looked at the menu and then went, oh, it's a big deal. I'll take that. Le couvert. La couvert.
Le couvert.
And she asked the waiter, I'll have the couvert. La couvert. And they looked at her and said, I'm sorry, but that's the cover charge. And she went, oh, and then they gave her a bread roll and were very nice about it. So
that is a nice story.
That's a funny little anecdote.
Yes, it's very funny. And I have a question. Okay, someone asking me, where are you French stripes, Caroline or Caroline or Frenchie? My French stripes, yeah, that is a good question. Look, guys, not French, but I have a French t-shirt today. So very, very Parisian. You can recognize me. Sorry, I do not have my French stripe today. So that is a very, very nice story.
I think it's beautiful to be open to chatting to lots of people, but being Australian kind of opens up conversation.
Yeah. And I can notice that because sometimes they love French, but also, you know, since I came back to France, you know, I say to my French friends or French people that I could meet, you know, I lived in Australia, and everyone all the time, the first reaction was, whoa, you lived in Australia. Because, you know, I think for French people, you know, Australia is just so far away.
But it is.
It is very far away.
And
I remember when I'm in Australia, you know, I say to my friends, come to visit me. Oh, come on, it's too far. You know, it's 24 hours flight. So, and also, I decided, you know, because we had these big fires, you know, at the beginning in January, and it was quite difficult, you know, it was difficult to see this. And I did notice that in France, they do not know enough the Australian culture. Because when you think about Australia, you think about the kangaroos, about surf, about beautiful beaches, but we do not know enough about Australia. And also it was the reason why I decided to create a business club, French Australian business club, Koala Business Club, because I think it's important, as you said, we have connections and we need to connect, you know, French and Australian.
Yeah, well, you know, after 7 years in Paris, you don't want to let Australia go. At 7 years in Melbourne, you don't want to let Australia go.
No, I don't. Yes, it's my home too, you know, and I feel that I have a little bit some Australian, you know, inside me, you know. So yes, I enjoy this time, and I do miss Australia. And at this time, normally I should be in Brisbane, I should be in Melbourne, you know, celebrating, you know, Bastille Day during a festival, but. Well, we're in Paris. Not so bad.
Not a good time to get on a long flight.
So, yes.
unfortunately.
And oops, sorry. Oh, and okay. And can you tell me also, you know someone?
She came to visit.
Yes, I can
I thought
say.
it was online, but
So-
she came to visit anyway.
So can you tell me also what you came to France the first time when you were like 18 or
No, 26.
26?
Yeah.
Okay. And
And I stayed 5 years.
you stayed 5 years. And can you tell me, because at this time it was quite different, because now you know French, of course, but at this time it was quite different. 26, could you speak French or not?
No,
So
I
you
couldn't
came to
speak
Paris.
French.
Did you know someone?
No,
Okay, so
I had no one.
you couldn't speak French. You didn't know anyone. Like me, when I came to Australia, I couldn't speak English. I didn't know anyone, too.
yeah, I stayed in a little hotel in Rue
Yes.
Saint-Jacques.
Yes.
They're called Hotel de Médicis, which Jim Morrison family lived in for a while.
Okay,
And I
okay.
lived there for a month.
Yes.
And it was not far from here. And I also lived in another dingy little hotel for quite a while, which was extraordinary, which at night time it had the wife guarding the entrance hall. It's very old-fashioned.
Yes.
It's 30 years ago now. It's very old-fashioned Paris still then. There were still echoes of the 50s and 60s a lot and 40s. And, when you come home, she was sleeping to let you in. Knitting, and if it was her husband, he had a newspaper on his lap when you came home from living in the hotel. But I started studying at Cours Florent, drama school.
But yes, Cours Florent, of
And
course,
that's
is
where-
the place where you have to go if you
That's
want
where I
to play
really learned my
theatre.
French, but also thanks to my French friends, because I started making friends and
Yes.
they were really
Do
lovely.
you still have your friends?
Yes,
Wow,
I do.
okay.
One of them just came along to watch before. She thought it was an event.
She was spying you,
No, I think it was, she didn't understand it was a web event.
Okay. And just I have a question for you, Lisa. Do you miss Australian food?
Well, Australian food is very diverse.
Yes.
So
We have
don't
everything.
have any
We have a lot of
food that I miss.
Yes.
Because Tom and I both cook at home, and in Australia you have a lot of Thai food.
That's right.
Continental food, salad. So really, nothing beats a French cake.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, and but I also worked in a cinema around the corner from here. I was an usherette at Le Cinéma Saint-Germain-des-Prés.
Yes.
Which had all the art house films being launched there. Jane Birkin used to come along, Marcella Mastroianni,
Yes.
Catherine Deneuve.
Jane Birkin, who was with
Yeah.
Serge Gainsbourg, this very famous French singer, and he wrote so many beautiful songs about love. And
It was a great job. And there was the Eric Romer festivals. There was Gérard Depardieu that organized Jean Cassavetes festival.
Yes.
So I had a fabulous cinema education there. And that also allowed me to be getting free to all the art house cinemas in Paris. And that was actually my favorite part-time job ever. And it was only paid by tips. I put my hand out,
Wow.
and just hoped that a gold coin got popped in there. And I had my torch to take people to sit down. And
I'm sorry.
And
I'm sorry. No.
it was a great job. We used to have little parties in the foyer of the Cinema Saint-Germain-des-Prés for birthdays, Bastille, Christmas, Easter.
Yes. And I do remember when I was younger, much younger, when we went to the cinema.
Toujours young,
Yeah,
forever young.
Of course. We're not going to reveal everything here. But yes, I remember when we went to the cinema, we have this woman, who can say you have this seat, and we could give some tips,
Yes, well, I was one of them.
So
it was a
you.
dying job. It was,
Yes.
yeah, it was hard to scrape a living doing that, but I just loved it.
And speaking about French cinema, you know what? We speak about everything. Today we speak about Australia, about France. And speaking about French cinema, what do you like about French cinema? Do you have some... Because we have a big festival, the French Film Festival, everywhere, it's worldwide. And apparently, I don't want to say something wrong, but apparently I have heard that it's one of the biggest film festivals in the world. So can you explain to me, you as an Australian, why do you like so much about...
I love the art house cinema culture here. I mean, just near where we're living on Boulevard Saint-Germain, there's 6 small art house cinemas. And they have, I love the retrospective festivals, when they're celebrating the Eric Momer films or Romy Schneider Festival.
Yes.
And Visconti. I mean, they're always celebrating, and then you can, plan your week around going to see them. And I just adore that because then you get, we had a Jean-Luc Godard festival at Cinema Saint-Germain-des-Prés, and there's really Jacques Tati festivals, any festival really. They do Australian festivals too. Australian cinema's been really popular in Paris.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
When is that?
I mean, I saw Strictly Ballroom when I was living here at the Grand Rex, which is an amazing, beautiful Belle Epoque cinema, basically. And that they love contemporary Australian cinema too.
And I have a question totally different. I'm not speaking about the cinema, but because we are at Café de Flop, I would like to ask you: do you miss the cafe from Australia? Because often, I could hear Australian telling me, "I love France, but you know what, guys, your coffee in France is not good at all." And I have to recognize now that I lived in Australia, we have very, very good coffee in Australia. So do you miss coffee?
Well, I had a very nice Café Noisette this morning.
Café Noisette?
So that was very good. I recommend Café Noisette.
You can say everything, that's okay.
But no, Australian coffee is really great. I mean, I used to work at the Black Cat Cafe, which was iconic, and I was taught to make coffee with professionals, Henry Mars, and the team, and Tony Edwards, Marty Edwards, and everybody came there for coffee. And we made beautiful coffee with a 1950s vintage Italian coffee machine, and it was about having the temperature right for the milk, and the best coffee you could get for years in Melbourne. Black Cat.
Yeah, I know.
It still exists, but Henry Mars doesn't own it yet. And then he bought the Night Cat, which was great. That's where I put on my French play, Le Bel Indifférent, The Indifferent Adonis, at the Night Cat for the Melbourne Fringe Festival quite a few years ago now. And
but that's right, because in Melbourne, you can ask so many different coffees. And when you're in France, you just ask, can I have an espresso? Or can I have, a long black, an allongé?
Well, I think
when in Australia, it's...
Yeah.
When I came to Australia, I was totally lost, I didn't know, because all the time I was asking, can I have a coffee? I do not drink a lot of coffee, but I was asking, can I have a coffee? And the waiter was looking at me, okay, but what type of coffee? What do you mean, what type of coffee? I just want a coffee.
Well, I think Australians have now perfected the Italian coffee.
That's right.
There's a lot of Italians in Melbourne, in Australia actually, and the produce is beautiful. The coffee's beautiful. The machines are very well oiled. They're very well made.
Yeah. So we have a lot of Italian. We have a lot of French. So during these years, did you see a lot of French people coming to Australia? Can you see a difference? You're from Melbourne. Did you see that in Melbourne?
Yes. Melbourne. We're always meeting French people, going out to the local restaurants, and there's always a new French restaurant happening.
Yes.
And I love hearing the French voices, and I go running along St Kilda Beach, and I meet French people even jogging in the morning.
Oh yeah, but you know what?
Looking at the sea.
There are so many French people on St Kilda Beach because there is the French Alliance.
Yes, and the St Kilda tram can be packed with French people.
Yes, and I know when I came to Australia, it was in 2012. The first suburb where I lived, it was in St Kilda, because for me it was easier, because I couldn't speak English, so it was easier at the beginning. I know it's not the best, but I was staying with a lot of French people, because sometimes
you had people to stay with, because I didn't when I came to Paris.
And it's what I wanted to ask
very
you.
Hard in Paris.
Oh yes, it's very hard. And I wanted to ask you, because I guess when I'm in Australia, sometimes I miss my French culture. And for example, with Bastille Day, it's a good opportunity for French, to reconnect with our culture. And you, as an Australian living in France, of course, I guess you miss your Australian culture, but do you have like a community of Australian in France? you can share with? Or?
Not really. What I do have is my loyal French friends that I made between 89 and 94, and I have some lovely new women artist friends that I meet with on Thursdays, and because I really do miss my Melbourne artist girlfriends.
Yes.
Heidi Yardley and Jane Burton. We're a happy little trio going out in
the little
Melbourne
trio,
together.
yes.
I guess lots of openings.
I guess women were all the same, French, Australian, all the time. We have like our tribe, to go out.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. And I really miss that, and a lot of my artist friends, and of course Tom and I have made a film, The Big Kitty, and we're trying to get it launched somehow, and we have all our Melbourne artist friends that so generously contributed and starred in our film, The Big Kitty, which is a comedy film noir set in 1949, a crazy independent feature film. And it's amazing how great artists, how many artists are such great actors.
Yes.
They're really good. It was astonishing. Sometimes we were blown away by the performance, and everyone did such a great job. And so, really, and really during the confinement, I had so many video calls. We're really getting used to this video world. And that's a beautiful way to catch up. But the time difference can make it really tricky.
Yeah,
and I have great conversations with my brother Paul. So that really connects. And actually, so many friends were going to be coming to Paris this year at residencies. And had planned because we were here. And so they're all stuck. And everyone is feeling quite sad, and life has fundamentally changed for the moment.
It's like the life is in brackets, I would like to say, because also I have some friends, from Australia, they wanted to come to Paris, or to France in summer, because I guess it's the best time to visit France, and yes, they were sending me some message, I'm sorry I can come, and anyway, we can understand. And I can see from Lois Weddleton, girlfriends are great to share time with.
Hello, Lois.
So, Lois. Yes. So, yes, definitely girlfriends. And it's what I notice. I don't know for you, but I noticed this. You French, you Australian is what I wanted to say. It doesn't matter, because we just need to share between girls. We always need some girlfriends to share.
Yes.
And you French, you Australian, we all the same, chatting and speaking about fashion, men maybe, and everything. So about life.
Yes. And I haven't mentioned how much I miss my cat Baptiste, which a dear friend is living in our place looking after him. And he stars in our film too. And Heidi's just written to us, they're saying, "Cat is gone." And that's a big line. Big scene in our film, the dramatic scene where Cat goes missing, which hopefully will be coming to a cinema in Melbourne and Paris soon.
Yes.
The Big Kitty.
And yes, I have seen your trailer, and it looks very, very good.
Oh, thank you.
It looks so professional, and you told me, we called it, in another cafe in Paris, and close to Trocadero. And you told me a few weeks ago that you were hoping to go to the Cannes Film Festival.
Well, an art film festival.
Yes.
Anyway, we have recently been accepted into a festival in Japan. But, we really want to have a screening for our friends. And
yes,
and
you have
Sebastian Colette.
Yes, we have people, saying, can't wait to see your film, Lisa. We have AG, Lois,
Is it
Sebastian.
How do you? I can't see the rest of the question.
I ask you the question. Yes. I ask you all the time, I check and I have an eye on this. So, bonjour.
That's a friend, that's Alexei Nabokov.
Okay. Wow, okay. So, always, can you say to me, what else do you miss from Australia? What can you add about French? And would you like to say something special?
What else? the distance is what I hate the most about Australia.
Yes,
That's it.
that is the most difficult. Unfortunately, we have some connections, and yes, that is the most difficult for you.
Yeah. Friends, I wish we could all be together.
Yes.
Yeah,
Can
I
you-
really do.
Even if we're all the same, I told you we are all the same when we connect. But can you see a big difference when you connect with French? Are you going to connect in the same way with a French person?
Yes, I mean,
Is
I
it
think
a bit
it's
the
quite
same?
instinctive.
Yes. Okay.
You don't plan it.
Yeah.
It's like you get along or you don't.
No, because often we can hear, that especially in Paris, people are a little bit tougher, And when I came to Australia, I was very surprised to see Australians. They're very welcoming and very warm, and all the time they call you "Hello, darling. How are you?" When in Paris, no one is going to call you "Ma chérie" if you do not know someone.
Oh well, no, my French friendships here in Paris started off beautifully. I mean, for a long time we couldn't even speak the same language, but we just hung out anyway.
Yes.
And my great friend Xavier, who was working in a gallery, invited me for lunch, and he said to me, "Tu aimes les falafels, Lisa?" Lisa. Falafel? Oui, Lisa, les falafels. Tu dois connaître les falafels. So we're walking in the Marais and we get to la Rue des Rosiers.
La Rue des Rosiers, yes.
And there I see falafels. And falafel.
Yeah, that's why now I understand.
So now I tell anybody and tell my husband, when you're learning French, just try the French word. Just try an Australian word with a French accent because it might work.
Yes.
Like composition.
That's right. I told you we have
Adventure,
3,500. Yes.
Yes. And
I did the same, but sometimes it's not working, and I do not have an example. But sometimes I was trying to do this, taking my best Australian accent and say, this word is the same, but it's not working all the time.
Yeah. And the other thing is it's really important just to be brave and speak and make mistakes.
Yes.
Because you do have to embarrass yourself a lot to learn a new language. So that's hit hard on your ego, and you feel really embarrassed and stupid, and go home with a migraine after a dinner party in the early days.
Yes.
And but then the joy of being able to have a friendship in another language opens up a whole new culture.
Right.
And there's something beautiful about being able to speak French, and there's such a beauty in the language that I find that I speak a little bit differently sometimes in French. It's just the passion of the language that governs that, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know for you, but I agree with you. It's like a privilege to be able to speak two languages. And I guess also when you can speak another language, you can understand more about the culture. Like for me, I have the feeling when you speak in English, and sorry guys, I'm saying a little some hello to everyone, everywhere. And I have this feeling also when you speak in English as a French person, English is very direct. When I don't know for you, do you have this feeling that when we're going to say something in French, it's going to be a bit different or not?
Well, there's the pattern of the construction of the grammar that's different.
Yeah, but what I would like to say also, for me, English is very pragmatic.
Oh.
But it's what I like. Beautiful. Oh, not it's beautiful. Yeah. But what I like with English is you go straight to the point. It's what I do like about English.
You can do that.
Yes.
Or you can be very floral like Henry James.
Oh, yes. But unfortunately, I'm not as good as in French to speak like this. But what I like about English, and sometimes I'm losing my words in French, because I say, oh my God, I would like to say that in French, but like I say this in English because it's direct and I like it.
Sometimes it just can't be said. Sometimes I just can't find the word in English, or sometimes I can't find the word in French.
Yes.
I think that sometimes they just isn't the equivalent and it doesn't exist.
Exactly. Like, I don't know, for me, I have this word like overwhelming. I love this word in English. I'm overwhelmed. And I don't know exactly how to translate this in French because we have so many words, but I like this word in English.
So what is the word that you would use?
Overwhelmed, I think it depends on the context. But like you're going to give me a present and I'm going to be very overwhelmed, you know, it's too much. I feel like emotive, you know.
Yes.
I don't know, it's quite difficult, you know, according to the context. Do you have some words like this that for you it's difficult?
My hat, I find that tricky. But one of my tips for, you know, when I speaking with Tom about learning French, I say just think of all the topics that you'd like to talk about, not abstract. So, you know, Tom can tell a great story at a dinner party about art and painting, doing a copy in the Louvre or technique or why he likes an artist. And so you really just have to think about learning the phrases that are true to you, of what you like to use every day, in even your typical phrases. It's a good idea to think about, what's that in French?
Yeah, and what is your favorite French word? What is your favorite French word, the French word that you like? Do you have a word that you say all the time? Or you're going to say to me?
Champagne.
Champagne, yes, I love this word. Do you have an expression now that you say all the time in French?
Gee, not sure.
No?
Ah bon has a good success.
Ah bon?
Ah bon is a great connector for getting people to keep talking. They go, oui. And then they continue explaining more of the story.
Yes.
You act interested. It's really good. And that's really good for keeping a conversation going and learning French. Because a lot of my French I learned listening to other people speak French.
That's right.
And on Terrasse de Café, in fact.
Yes.
Having these wonderful, you know, rendezvous. I mean, I adore the word rendezvous. It's a beautiful word.
It's a beautiful word, yes.
And you can have a rendezvous at Terrasse de Café, and they don't make you leave, you know. I mean, we've been here quite a while already.
Oh, that's very, very nice. I have a message from Gian. Your English is very good, Gary. Thank you so much. But I have to tell you, and I say that to Lisa, and I say, oh my God, I have the feeling that I lost my English. And Lisa, she said to me, no, you didn't lose your English. I just have a very, very strong accent.
It's there.
That's okay. That's okay. I accept it because when I can hear Lisa speaking in French, and I told you this, I love it because I think it's so beautiful. You know the way you're going to speak. Here we go. Can you come here, please?
Hello.
Hello, hello. We have a guest.
There's no room.
Oh no, maybe you should come.
Bonjour,
We have a
Australie.
guest. We have a special waiter, you know, from Café de Flore, and you can see this beautiful. We can see the beautiful black and white. Here we go. Thank you.
Bonjour l'Australie.
So from Café de Flore, we are very lucky to have you. What is your name, please?
Stéphane.
Stéphane. Thank you so much, Stéphane, for joining us. And we have everyone. Bonjour.
Have a good time.
Thank you so much, Stéphane. Who say that the waiters in Paris, they're not nice?
Oh,
They're
no,
very
gorgeous.
nice.
They're gorgeous.
I know, they're very nice.
Yeah.
So we were lucky. Oh, we had a lot of... Stéphane has a lot of success in Australia. So it was not good? No, it was not. Yeah, I know, because all the time we say, oh yes, you know, the waiter, they're very rude in Paris. And do you know, sometimes a little bit, I have to tell you.
Yeah,
But
but on the whole, no.
yeah.
And the service is great usually. Just now and again, you can be overlooked, which, you know, is a worry.
So no, it was not rude, and we asked him, would you like to come to say hello to Australia? And he was quite excited, and he said to me, yes, of course, I'm going to come to say hello. And he came. I didn't call him, and he came. So that was very nice. And also, you know, I have a little thought for them because it's very difficult for them to walk with a mask. And because you asked me this, I have a question for you guys. Do you think that the waiter in France are rude? That is the new poll for you, please. Let's see what people are going to think about that. So, okay, so sorry, we were interrupted. And so you French world, so you learn a lot of French, you know, on the terrace.
Yes, just speaking with my friends, and it was a great lesson because, you know, as I said, I often just used an Australian English word in French, and if it didn't work, they go "ça marche pas, Lisa."
Ça ne marche pas. Ça marche pas, that means it doesn't work, you know.
Yeah, and I go, okay, I'll get out my little dictionary and look it up there.
Yes.
So I always had a little pocket dictionary.
Yes.
Before digital days, and then I remember I was working in this little cute little bar, which was a locals bar called Bob Pool, and I was studying at Cours Florent, studying Molière, Marivaux, even Shakespeare, which was a nightmare.
Yes.
Pinto was great, and so my French was rapidly improving because I was rehearsing all the time, and then I started understanding more jokes at the bar and what people were saying about me, and so then I was like, and then I started making jokes back, and then they were like, oh my God, we've got to watch out now, she's starting to understand everything.
And also,
And then I was like, yes, I'm making progress, really making progress.
yes, I have a little joke about this. One day I was speaking with a friend, and I don't know, what did you do today? And I don't know why. I say, I did a few things at home, and I was in Australia, and I say, I cleaned my house, I changed the shit. And he said to me, what do you mean you changed the shit? And I said, yeah, I changed all the shit, I clean. And okay, and after I understood that I needed to say, I changed the shit. And it was quite difficult for me to hear the difference, or for you guys, of course, you can understand, but it was quite difficult for me to hear the difference between shit and shit.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I think
that's a great example.
Yeah, we have a lot of examples like this. Like often, I can hear some people, they say, merci beaucoup.
Yes. I arrived telling everybody I was very jolly.
Yes.
I was wanting to say I'm very happy, but I was announcing to everybody I'm very pretty. And then finally someone said to me, I think you want to say contente.
Yes.
Tu es contente.
Because
Okay.
it looks a little bit arrogant, I'm very jolly.
Jolly.
I'm very
jolly.
jolly.
Yes, I know.
So,
But
okay.
I was saying it very unconfidently as well. Oui, je suis très jolie.
Yes,
I'm
of course.
very happy, I thought.
Yeah, of course. And I did a few workshops and conferences in Australia speaking about fashion and attitude, French attitude and everything. And all the time I say that do not confuse, please, confidence, with confidence, and arrogance. Sorry,
Yes,
I lost
exactly.
my confidence and arrogance. So that is very important. And we have the right to say, yes, and you're very jolie. Lisa, you are a very jolly woman. So we ask you guys, do you think waiters in France are rude? And you are very, very nice, because 87% of people think that French waiters are not rude. Well, I'm quite impressed.
They're very professional. They give the best service in the world.
Best service in the world.
Well, Italians are very good too.
Yeah, Italian, they're very good. But why do you think the French service is good? What is the difference?
Oh, we were just in Saint-Tropez, and the restaurants were so packed.
Oh, yeah, you came back from
with the social
Saint-Tropez.
distancing.
Yes.
But, and they're having to work with it was 30 degrees, working with masks, and they do the most amazing service, and with 3 big plates of salads and wine trays as big as this. And it's sport. They are just doing non-stop.
Yeah.
It really is very physical and very efficient. And they're not writing down anything either. It's extraordinary. And so polite.
Yeah.
Really polite.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as a French person, for me, it's
Really
very
polite.
weird to hear
We
that.
didn't have one rude experience at all.
Okay.
In the extreme heat. And, I was worried about some lovely waiter, and I said, you really look like you need a glass of water. Are you drinking water? He said, yes, I am.
And when I came to Australia, the big difference for me is when I went to a restaurant, or not a restaurant, but like a bar, and I wanted to order something, and I was quite shocked because I needed to order, and they gave me a number, and I needed to put the number on the table. And I think I was a bit rude, but I was very French, like very arrogant, and I said, excuse me, but I like that now. I think it was quite nice. It was simple, sometimes. I do not expect that in a restaurant. In a restaurant, I like to be served, yes, it's very different for us.
I love the table service. But anyway, now it's better to have table service with the COVID.
Yes.
Because
yes.
everybody stays around. Otherwise, you're getting up and going and asking for
Yes.
this or looking for the salt and pepper or a jug of water, all the salt. It's not good now. It's
Yeah.
better to have table service with the virus.
Yeah, we need to be very cautious, but we can see now in Paris in a lot of coffee, and I would like to say that to Australian, because they do not know that, but usually, we have the menu. Now in a lot of restaurants and bars, we do not have menu anymore. So they come with a code bar, a scan code, sorry, I speak in French. So sometimes you have a scan code on the table, and with your phone, you take a photo of the scan, and you have the menu. So that is very, very good. And I think, with the COVID, a lot of things have changed, and a lot of things are going to stay. I believe a lot of habits are going to change.
I think there are some really nice outcomes. Of course, the bathrooms are much cleaner for one.
Yes.
The tables are always cleaned more than ever. And it's quite beautiful having these little pop-up tables out on the streets.
Yes.
And it's beautiful being able to talk to Australia. Obviously, I've got a lot of friends watching.
Yeah, we can see a lot
Lois,
of comments,
Jasmine,
and
Heidi.
we have comments also on Instagram. People, they are following us. That's very nice. Thank you so much. And we have new people, so it's a lot of work. You have to to watch everywhere and to say hello to everyone, and I like this. And also another question, because with the COVID, we could see, we cannot kiss people anymore, and that it was huge for French, because all the time we hug, we kiss, and
it's like against nature.
yes, exactly
It
right.
is, and it's sad, and I think there's a lot of people suffering from no human contact, especially grandparents or people who live alone with grandchildren. They can't even hug anymore, and people still want to do it, and we're going no.
Yes, and I almost wanted to do that with you when you came, because it's like we get used to do that. It's in our veins.
And in Australia, when I was growing up, we didn't do that. And one thing I loved about coming to Paris was that physical contact and
Yes.
embracing everybody. Even when I turned up for work at the bar, I'd kiss the owner of the bar and all the clients because they're all regulars. And one night a friend came in and he said, I just want a quick drink. I don't want to. And he was not from France, but I just want a quick drink. And I don't want to kiss everybody because it'll take too long. And they were all horrified. And he was not popular. And they said, no, Alain, you can't do that.
And
We never tried that again.
I grew up in the south of France, in Marseille. And often, we can hear there is a big difference between Paris and Marseille, and there is sometimes some little conflict. Nice way, in a nice way. In a nice French way. And for example, in the south of France, we kiss and we hug a lot.
Yes.
So you came back, yesterday
they were
from the
kissing
south
and
of
hugging
France.
in the south
Can you
of France.
see? Yeah, you can see a big difference between Paris and the south.
No, and they weren't wearing masks in Saint-Tropez.
Yeah, a bit more rebellious.
Or maybe silly.
Yeah, I think so.
There was the social distancing happening in the restaurants,
Yes.
which was great, but as in individual big groups of friends meeting up and in the shops. We went to the Saint-Tropez market, which was extraordinary. Soaps and collars and bikini stands everywhere, but it was quite dizzying because Tom and I haven't seen so many people for so long, and we wore our mask, but it was overcrowded.
Yeah.
And it was dizzying, and so we did a few stands, and it was beautiful and colourful, and the herbs and spices and the tablecloths.
So the south of France was very crowded.
It was only becoming crowded the day we left.
Okay.
It was when all the traffic was coming in,
Yes.
the boats were building
Yes.
up, and the Ferraris were arriving. So we got in just before all of that.
Yes.
So there's a lot of room for the public beach. But now it's really gone to jet set life now. But it was really beautiful in the quieter season. Really, really beautiful.
Okay.
I really recommend it. I mean, I'd love to go back, but I would never go in this.
Thank you so much, Deborah. We can see wonderful discussion. Hello from Ballarat.
Hello,
So
Deborah.
big hello, hello Ballarat.
Hello, Lois.
And yes, good opportunity now to say hello to everyone, in Australia, in Brisbane, of course, in Melbourne, maybe people from Sydney, I would like to know a bit if we have people, from Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, Ballarat.
Well, I've got
Perth,
quite
maybe
a few
we have
loyal
people from
friends here
Perth.
from Melbourne and Ballarat, which is really beautiful.
So maybe we have people from America. I don't know, because I can see also a few things on Instagram happening.
Ooh.
So yes.
That's really
So
beautiful.
yeah, thank you so much. It was very good, to have bisous. We have Gilbert. Hello Gilbert. Bonjour Gilbert. So we know Gilbert.
C'est très bien.
That's very funny.
I sent an email to Gilbert yesterday too.
So I'm from Brisbane. That's good. So bonjour, please. Can you write, where you're from? Bonsoir de Brisbane. We have Newcastle. Please, Gold Coast. Wow. Okay, we have everyone here.
That's
so
lovely.
yes, please send us message. Just tell us, where you are. We want to know where you are, and on Instagram too, please. So yes, thank you so much. I think maybe we have some question. I don't know.
Hello, I just want to thank you. I'm back here. Lisa, that was fascinating, and there's a lot of things that actually resonate for French people who now live in Australia. So we have a lot in common. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we have in common for French people who now live in Australia. So it's very interesting. There's a lot of questions coming through about your film. So when is that going to be released in Australia? Are we going to be able to watch it soon? The Big Kitty.
Our film, well, we were hoping to have a launch later this year, but because of the COVID, we can't. So it will have to be next year. And we're hoping to have a launch as we originally planned at the Astor Cinema in St Kilda.
Okay. And will there be a release in Paris before?
We're looking at maybe a little release in Paris before, and you can actually watch the trailer on Vimeo.
Vimeo, okay. We'll try to find the link and we'll put it on Facebook.
And we're going to be starting an Instagram page for the Big Kitty film.
Okay.
Very soon.
Interesting. If you hear me, sorry if I have to scream for the people in Australia, but I want you to hear my question. We interviewed an Australian writer on Monday, Karen Viggers, who sells a lot of books in France at the moment. How is your art going? Because you did have exhibitions in France in the past. Are you still exhibiting in galleries?
Yes, I had my Annette Kellerman exhibition, L'Audace d'Annette, at l'Atelier des Vertus, which is in the 3rd arrondissement in the Marais. I had that in 2018. That was where I first had it. And then I had a very large version with large AO images, big installation at the Alliance Française de Melbourne in September and October, which was fabulous.
Yeah.
Wonderful introduction by Gilbert Ducasse, which was fabulously organized by Françoise Libot, who was the deputy director, who's recently just left after 18 years at the Alliance Française de Melbourne.
It's good we have to call Paris to get news for the Alliance Française in Melbourne.
Yes, it's funny, isn't it? Wonderful. It's a great institution. And in St Kilda, we live just around the corner. So I always go to the openings, and I've known Gilbert for a long time when I did a play at the Melbourne French Theatre Company in like 1995 as well.
Yeah. For those people who don't know tonight, the Alliance Française French Film Festival is actually starting today in Brisbane, and I'm pretty sure for the rest of Australia. Because it was supposed to be a while ago, and with the COVID restrictions, they had to cancel everything. So it is back on, and we've already got tickets to go to the French Film Festival here in Brisbane. So it's back, Caroline. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We have heard. Sorry, Betty. Maybe
no, that's all right. That's all right.
A bit weird when we looked at you because we have a lot of noise, around us.
But that's okay. And I just want to tell the people who are watching that if they go onto your Instagram, you did a live video 2 hours ago from the view where you're sitting, and you can see the Garde Nationale going through the road, getting ready for the parade. So it's live on your Instagram, isn't it?
You mean, oh, yes.
Yes, I filmed that too.
Oh, yeah, yes. It was just 20 minutes before we started,
You've already forgotten. You've put it on. I watched it.
Yeah, it was nice, with beautiful horses, Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
So we have like a small, you missed that too? You saw that. Okay. Yeah, we have a little parade and it was beautiful.
And the plane's going over as well.
Maybe you can try to organize something in Brisbane,
The planes, you mean?
With horses and everything.
Yeah, we can have drones over MUSGRAVE Park, blue, white, and red. That was going to be amazing.
It can be amazing.
Okay, I think it was fantastic, and it's such a heartwarming discussion we've had, and listening to all the sounds. It's usually bad when you do a webinar, but we just loved every sound we heard. The coffee cups, the waiters asking in French in the background, even the police walking past at the beginning it's a different sound. So any sound behind you was great to hear.
So that's nice. It was very good, for us to share with you. And
thank you.
Did enjoy this time. Thank you so much, Betty, for thinking of us.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us in Australia. That was the highlight of Bastille Day, being with you. And what's the weather like? Quickly before you go.
Oh, the weather?
Yeah.
It's a little bit grey.
Yeah, it's a bit rainy. It's not so warm.
23 degrees.
23 degrees, yes.
Same as Brisbane in winter.
Yeah, but yesterday it was 30 degrees, so...
Okay.
But yes.
That sounds great. And just one last question. What's the plat du jour today at Café de Flore?
Excuse me, we didn't hear you.
There's hardly any traffic, but it's very noisy.
No problem. What is le plat du jour aujourd'hui au Café de Flore?
That it's a good question. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure it's not snails.
No. Special Bastille Day menu on.
Maybe we can ask to Stéphane.
Kir Royal.
Kir Royal sounds good to me.
And to be quite honest, I'm not sure there is a plat du jour at Café de Flore. It's always the same,
Okay.
You have the menu.
Not even a special Bastille Day one.
Traditional food, traditional French food, and yes.
We all look forward to be able to going back very soon, but it doesn't sound like it can happen anytime soon. So enjoy your time in Paris, and thank you very much for sharing this with us. So we will see you again in a few months' time at with the French Festival in Brisbane. So it's happening. You've got the dates on the right-hand side, 16th, 17th, and 18th of October. We'll have more masterclasses and conferences, and maybe we can do another live streaming with you in Paris in October, which will be fantastic.
Oh, I thank you so much. Thank you,
Betty.
And
thank you. Bisous. I know you can't do the real ones, but we'd love to send you lots of kisses here in Paris because we love la bise.
Merci. Oui, we love la bise. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir tout le monde.
Merci. Have a really good day. Enjoy your Bastille Day celebration. Au revoir à toutes les deux. Merci beaucoup.
We have Stéphane.
Merci Stéphane. Bonne journée. À bientôt.
Merci. Au revoir.
Allez, fais-nous un petit tour de caméra qu'on voit toute la rue.
Ah oui, un petit tour de caméra. J'emporte l'ordinateur avec moi.
Allez, vas-y, on se quitte sur les belles images.
Petit tour de caméra, donc.
Voilà. Oh, bah, il fait beau.
Ah, nous avons la preuve. Nous sommes bien au Café de Flore.
Magnifique.
On ne vous a pas menti. Et voilà, petit tour de caméra.
Ah.
Bonjour.
Ah bah voilà, tout le monde dit bonjour.
Voilà. Dis bonjour.
Bonjour Paris.
Australie en direct.
Oui, en direct de Brisbane.
Donc, voilà, et on peut voir, on va juste regarder la terrasse, mais vous pouvez voir que on a beaucoup de monde en terrasse, hein.
Ouais,
et ça fait vraiment, vraiment plaisir. It's such a pleasure to see people, on terrace, because it's about life.
That's it. That's life. Enjoy your life in Paris. We'll keep enjoying ours in Australia. See you. Merci beaucoup. À très bientôt. Au revoir, Lisa. Merci.
Thank you, my friends, for joining in.
Yeah, all your friends were there commenting. Jocelyn, Jasmine, Lois, everybody's here.
Okay.
Au revoir. Merci beaucoup.
Merci,
Bye bye.
au revoir.